that's when the Coast Guard...
You know what?
And she's actually coming down for this.
Again. A little, but there was no noise. Hard to see, but get this. She said...
Just day in paradise.
Now I feel like
Why did you drive all the way up here to see?
Dudley's take would have been pretty slim.
Used to be homicide?
Right now, I'm just pretty much focused on... Oh, cool. But thank you, Dr. Compensate.
Still the thought of losing his house.
I figure.
Nancy, why aren't you answering the goddamn...
And she bitched about you asking also.
Bro, I'm already suspended.
He was fired.
Gonna miss that. How problems get solved. Take your time, I'll be with...
You wished you knew my real name.
Quite the team. Raccoon on a shovel.
These red ones?
Yeah, the baby turtle.
While passing over the arm, Yancey sees Eve Stripling, Meredith Hagner, and he begins questioning her about the tragedy. She seemed eager to leave. Following that, Yancey returns to Rosa to express his concerns over Eve and requests to view the husband's, Nick's documents. Unfortunately, when the sheriff, who has learned of his inquiries, calls Yancey, things go south with his investigations. Yancey's suspension escalates into a full-fledged termination, requiring the guy to surrender his car, badge, and pistol. Bonnie is waiting for Yancey when he gets home, and she informs him that she is unable to persuade Cliff to withdraw the accusations. Yancey realizes that she may be hiding secrets from Cliff and that he may be using him as leverage for blackmail. When Yancey attends Nick's funeral, she discovers that some FBI agents are also present. The woman who is speaking to Nick's kid, not Eve's, claims that Eve stole the titanium ring that was discovered on her arm and replaced it with a less expensive one. She continues by claiming that Nick was slain by Eve. Yancey employs a friend who works in pest control later that day to place bees in his neighbor's chimney. Then, in order to identify some shark teeth in his arm, he travels into town to see his buddy and the captain of the boat from the opening scene. After stating that they are not from a shark capable of ripping off an arm, the captain lets them have a drink. The captain runs across his old skipper at the pub. He literally took the arm out of the water, but he resigned after somehow becoming extremely wealthy. When Yancey approaches the skipper, he swiftly exits the tavern, but not before being shot and killed by a motorbike. Throughout the course of this episode, there are many cuts to the Bahamas, where Ronald Pete plays Neville, a guy who lives in a fishing shack with his pet monkey Driggs. Although it's interwoven throughout the show, I've included it here for convenience of reading. Neville finds out that his sister, who is the legal owner of the property, has already sold it for a high price and that an American named Christopher is purchasing every home in the neighborhood to construct a resort. Neville begins his mission to strike back against the resort after witnessing Eve on the beach doing a crappy job of being in grief. He pees in a digger's gas tank with the help of his pals. Later, in the bar, Neville begs his friends to support him in keeping his house, and they decide to celebrate by having a drink. After a few beers, they advise him to see the Dragon Queen, an Obeah lady who can assist him in cursing Christopher. Neville sees the witch, Jodie Turner Smith, after breaking into the construction office to take some of Christopher's clothes for the spell. He doesn't mind that she warns him that the victim could not survive the curse. While returning home at night, Neville witnesses Christopher's arrival on the island via seaplane.